Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cindy, and today I decided to make a short video to share with you guys 7 things that I've learned as a social worker in my 7th year being a social worker working and living in Melbourne, Australia. Okay, let's get started. If you have seen my previous video, you would have known that I was able to get my skill migration permanent residency in Australia in 10 months time post-graduation, and before my graduation ceremony I was able to secure my first social worker job, actually titled as social worker, and from there I was able to secure different jobs, and I moved organizations, I moved the programs, I even changed the field of practice. And this year 2026 marks the 7th year of me being a social worker in Australia, so I thought to share 7 of the things I learned along the way. If you are an international student studying social work, or a local student in Australia studying Master of Social Work or Bachelor of Social Work, here are the things I have learned, and I hope my sharing could be of help for you. So first is there's no perfect job, as there's no perfect social worker job. When you're trying to find your first job, you just have to find any social work job. Once you get a job, it will be much easier to move between organizations or even within the same organization to find a different job. So there's no perfect job. Even after a few years you've been working, you might not like the field you're working, but there are other factors to consider. Post-COVID, lots of organizations provide a flexible job, and you are able to do some hybrid models, work from home for 3 days and then go into the office for 2 days, or there might be fully remote jobs. Do you value the time, and where do you live? What is the cost of you to commute to the office every day versus 3 days at home? And what is the team culture? What is your relationship with your direct line manager? These are all the things taken into consideration. Money is not always the answer. So there's no perfect job, so really just find the job that's most cost effective, you like the team culture the most, and you get along with your direct line manager the most. That would be my advice. And the second thing I learned is don't be the silent, hard worker. I don't know about you, but being Chinese, I lived in China for over 20 years. I moved to Australia when I was 23. I've always been taught, growing up, always been taught by my parents that you need to work really hard. You just take whatever job that's given to you. It's not professional to complain about how much work you have. But in Australia, the work culture is different, especially work in mental health, in social work, in community sector. It's really important to let others know that how you are doing at your work. So don't be the silent worker. If the work is too much, ask for help. If you've been doing something really well, make sure you are being given credit too. And the third thing is don't be afraid of changes. When I started my first job, I was really surprised to see people actually leaving the team all the time. I was like, well, this is a great job, a big organization, so many opportunities. I would stay here, work here for the next 20 to 30 years, whatever. I was so grateful to the organization. And then as more and more I learned about the team, and the more and more I learned about other jobs out there, I quickly changed my mind. So in this field of practice, it's really, really common to see people come and go all the time. And in some government jobs, such as child protection, you might see the turnover rates for workers around 8 months to 10 months. You come into a team and you're working for over a year, people around you might be all completely different. So don't be afraid to change jobs if you're not happy with your job. Once you have obtained some work experience, and there's always better jobs out there, and there's always another job available for you. So don't be afraid of change if you don't feel comfortable in your current job or your role. And the number 4 is improve your ability to give compliments to others. Coming from an Asian, especially Chinese background, it was extremely hard for me in my first years living in Australia to even say, how are you doing? And to say, how am I doing? Am I doing good? Or to really describe my emotions in words that comes really natural to me. And it feels really cringe for me to say, oh my God, you're doing so well. Look how well you are doing, or how good is that? And I am really proud of you. All those words are so hard, and it just doesn't come to me naturally. Since I started working, I tried really, really hard to focus on learning how others giving compliments, learning how my colleagues interact with each other, learning how my colleagues giving compliments and encouragement and empowering phrases and sentences to their clients. And now I think I have some grasp on giving compliments, and I'm really proud of myself, which improves my relationship building with my clients, and it just makes me feel like I'm fitting in the culture a lot better, and I am more inspiring and more empowering, and I'm providing a much more positive practice to my clients. If you are interested in how to give compliments and how to be a lot more confident in your English as a second language speaker and work, feel free to let me know. I might make a separate video about that. Okay, moving on to the next thing. And the next one is please, please, please debrief. As the line in our line of work as a social worker, it's extremely difficult, and days you might have a very difficult client, you might have a very challenging phone call, you might have to do something that you feel like you're not ready to do it, or you have to deliver bad news to your clients. You have to have these really hard conversations with your clients, with the family you're working with, or even with the colleagues that you're working with. It's really important to debrief. So I first learned the importance of debrief actually was at my first social worker job. I had a really difficult phone call with a client, and the senior worker in my team actually came up to me. She said to me that you look quite upset and stressed. Would you like to come to a separate room and then we can talk about it? Then we went to a counseling room, we talk about it. I feel so much better even to say my feelings and to describe what was happening. Say that out loud. It gives you so much validation to your feelings, and it supports you to become a better social worker down the track. So please, please, please debrief with your colleague, debrief with your line manager when you can. And the number 6 is don't take anything personally. This one is a hard one to learn. It took me probably a couple of years. It's really difficult as a newbie when you get an email from someone. You're like, oh my God, I missed something. I have to immediately respond. But you don't have to. You can take a breath. You can take a step back and review things that you have done or you haven't done, then come up with a more professional and more comprehensive response. And do not take things personally, especially when you are trying to build a relationship with a client. You're trying to maybe build a connection with your colleagues. If things doesn't happen the way you wanted them to be, don't take it personally, and definitely do not take your work outside of work hours. I know it's hard. I'll make a separate video about that, of preventing burnout and how to set a healthy boundary between personal life and professional life. Okay, on to the next one. The next one is probably the most important lesson I have learned in the recent years. It is you will be reported by your clients. Here, I'm not talking about something you did was breaking the rules or illegal, or you are on the edge of being fired, or you missed something really important for your work. I'm purely saying you might get reported by your clients of, I don't like this counselor, I don't like this social worker, I don't want to work with Cindy, I don't want to work with her particularly, to your line manager. And they might request to be allocated to a different worker, to a different social worker, to a different counselor. Again, this comes back to the number 6. Do not take things personally. I know it's hard. The first time I was reported by one of my clients saying that she doesn't like the way I talk to her, she doesn't want me to be her social worker, was on my year 6 being a social worker, and my team leader was delivering this news to me. I was very shocked. And my team leader said, don't feel shocked, this is completely normal. Everybody in this office has been reported by the clients saying they don't like this, they don't want this thing's not being done in time or on time. Everyone had experienced this, and this is one of the necessities, I guess, to become a senior social worker, is that, not every client will be happy with the work you do, and don't take it personally, and it's completely normal. Everyone goes through this. And again, make sure you have a support system to support you, and there are people around you feel comfortable to talk about it. Okay, I guess that is all for today. I have listed all the 7 things I have learned as a social worker. If you are a social work student, if you are a new graduate who just started your social worker journey, I hope my video can be of help, and let me know if there's any other topics or any other content you would like me to cover, you'd like me to talk about. I am happy to take your feedback. Thank you. Hopefully I see you in my next video. Bye.